What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Iron Digital. I'm your host, D Wills, and today I'm going to go over this a certain segment of this around the blockchain that BitBoy Crypto does on his channel. I do watch it sometimes. I happen to have watched this particular episode, and it was a good one. I really enjoyed it. If anything, I thought it was his best episode thus far. He had a guest host, Richard Hart, and the guy from Dapp University, I forget his name, Greg, and dude from Altcoin Daily, Aaron. Richard Hart definitely stole the show. He is not a fan favorite at all. As you're looking at the screen, you probably see why this video got like 1,100 dislikes, just because most people do not like Richard Hart. And for those of you who do not know who Richard Hart is, he is the founder and creator of the Project Hex, and also he has another project coming out called Pulse Chain. Now, I like Richard Hart, and before I continue, I'll just say I do not own Hex or Pulse Chain, so I'm not one of those guys. I don't actually own his project. But anyway, I like Richard Hart because I think he's very knowledgeable about crypto technology and the markets, and pretty much all aspect of the industry, to be honest with you. Now, I do like the other guys on the panel as well, but Richard Hart is definitely by far the most knowledgeable on this panel. Now, you may not like him because he is a bit egotistical and narcissistic, and I mean, let's be honest, the dude is definitely full of himself, right? But the dude is smart and knows what he's talking about. So, the way you feel about him doesn't really matter. You shouldn't be led by feelings, but be led by factual information. So I just want to put that out there real quick. Now, I seen that TJ and Aaron, Aaron from Altcoin Daily, obviously, they tried to challenge him on different points, which is commendable. I definitely, if you got a point that you need to challenge him on, okay, go ahead and do it. But ultimately, Richard Hart, he definitely had his way with him. These guys, unfortunately, they're not as knowledgeable about the technology and the full scope of the industry as much as Richard Hart does. And so trying to debate him is not really a good thing if you know that you're just not matched evenly with knowledge as he is. When you're trying to debate someone, you got to make sure that you play to your strengths and their weaknesses, not the other way around. And if you've seen the episode, you've seen that pretty much that's what they demonstrated. They consistently try to play to his strengths and their weaknesses. You know what I mean? But anyway, let's get into the heart of this video. I want to play a short clip real quick, and I want to talk about this afterwards. So just listen to this short clip real quick.
That's not really how it works. So in a normal proof of work environment, you're under threat if you're a minority proof of work chain like Ethereum Classic. Ethereum Classic has been multiple times 51% attacked because it's easy to just get a bunch of mining hash rate from nicehash.com, renting it, and go on 51 spending their chain, because it's easy to get more hash rate from outside their chain than inside it, because they have a minority hash rate chain. In a proof of stake system, you don't have that option to go to NiceHash and rent a bunch of hash. You actually have to buy the stake. And then if you fuck around on the chain, your stake gets slashed and you lose that money. So I can name you a ton more proof of work networks that have had problems with 51% attacks than proof of stake networks. I can maybe name one proof of stake network that's ever had a problem, but I contain tons of proof of work ones that have had problems. So proof of stake is actually more secure than proof of work, but people just aren't measuring it for some reason. Like here's the coins that had inflation bugs where you could have minted as many free coins as you wanted. Bitcoin twice. They had to roll back the chain once in 2010. They had a Bitcoin Cash developer.
I'm going to stop the video right there real quick. Now, for those of you who do not know or who may be thinking that he's lying, this was in fact actually true. In the early days of Bitcoin, there was a bug to where basically the code for checking the Bitcoin transactions didn't work if the outputs were so large that they overflowed when summed, right? So I'll explain it to you how I seen a gentleman explain it on a Reddit forum. Basically, normally the inputs are equal to the outputs of a transaction. The exception is when there's a fee charged for the transaction. The net allows anyone to voluntarily pay any amount for a fee. So when the sum was negative, the difference from the input looked like a fee. It slipped through all the checks. Now, a hacker basically, he was able to exploit that, and he was able to create 184 billion bitcoins out of thin air. Now, obviously, we know that this is an issue because the max amount of Bitcoin is supposed to be 21 million, really like 20 million 990. You get the point. So that's like over 8,000 times that amount. I mean, that has drastic effects. Bitcoin would have been dead if that had gone on. But what happened was a guy named Jeff Garsick, I believe his name is, he caught it. He was the first one to catch it, alerted to Satoshi. Satoshi and a gentleman named Gavin Andreessen, they rolled back the chain. They patched that code and they hard forked the network. And this incident happened on August 15, 2010 at block 74638, right? And so if you go to Wikipedia, you can actually see, and now not that Wikipedia is on up and up on everything. Sometimes they are definitely wrong with certain things, but it's even on the Wikipedia page, the value overflow incident. You can read through, you can read about this incident here to where both of the addresses received 92.2 billion Bitcoins when it happened. And you can also go to the Bitcoin forum site, and this is at the actual time. This is the actual date that it happened, August 15, 2010. You can see the value out in this block 74638 is quite strange. You can see the hash, previous block, Merkle root, time, bits, nonce. You can see all of that. And if you scroll down, you'll be able to see the value that's going out to each address, 92.2 billion Bitcoins. So this was definitely a real incident that happened that doesn't get talked about in the community. And it's for obvious reasons. Because people don't want it to negatively affect the price, which is it's understandable, but we need to understand the history of Bitcoin and look at its progress over the years. Now, in the early days, there was a lot of hiccups because the tech was new and it was extremely vulnerable to different attacks. But, now the network is large. You have a lot more developers and the hash power to protect it against a lot more attacks. Now, it doesn't mean you're immune to 51% attacks. But it wouldn't make sense to do that because the way Bitcoin is built, the game theory behind it, if someone were to try to attack it, 51% attack it, well then that would basically allow Bitcoin to just be worthless at that point, which would drive the value of Bitcoin down. So if you hack the network and you get the Bitcoins, the value of Bitcoin goes down, you're left with nothing. So it's the game theory that's built into Bitcoin is absolutely genius, and that is to be respected and appreciated greatly. But anyway, that's all I just wanted to do a quick video on this. Like it, subscribe to the channel, give me some feedback, let me know how it is. I might actually dig into other parts of this video from the around the blockchain, because like I said, I thought it was an excellent show. They definitely should have more people on there like Richard Hart who can bring the real, who's not going to be on that whole political correctness type stuff. So I definitely can appreciate that. Hopefully you can as well. That's all that I have for you today. I will be coming to you guys very, very soon. Take it easy. Peace.